Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Wilson County Board of Education to order for June the 3rd, 2024. Please note that the meeting is being televised on Spectrum and Greenlight Channels 22 and live streamed through the Wilson County Schools YouTube channel. The public can also view the meeting by downloading the Wilson County Schools TV 22 app and through the links on the Wilson County Schools Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, and the Wilson County Schools website. Members of the board and of the audience, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mrs. Powell, to be followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And members of the board, we do need to have an approval of the agenda. I did not read Mrs. Powell's lips quickly enough, but could we please have an approval of the agenda, a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair,
Mrs. Powell,
I move that we approve the agenda for the June 3rd, 2024 Wilson County Board of Education meeting.
Second.
it's been moved by Mrs. Powell, seconded by both Mr. Breen and Mr. Mercer, that we approve the agenda for June 3rd, 2024. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. We have minutes of the May 20th, 24 regular board meeting. What is your pleasure,
Madam Chair,
Mrs. Barnes?
I move that we approve the Wilson County Board of Education, May 20th, 2024, regular board meeting. Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Barnes, seconded by Mrs. Boyette, that the May 20th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes be approved. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. Good news, Dr. Mills, assisted by Mrs. Powell. You're welcome.
Board members, audience members, tonight we have lots of folks to recognize, and there's a theme here to start with, so we'll see if you can catch what it is. But first up, we'd like to recognize Hunt High School Social Studies teacher Lisa Wheeler for being our 24-25 Teacher of the Year. Would Lisa please come forward? You can be a little more prepared this time since we're not going to ambush you. You have to hang out for a minute. Okay, can't run. Yeah. So unlike in early May where we ambushed you in the media center and you had students and staff and everybody, tonight was planned, so it should be a little more amenable to you. But Miss Wheeler has been teaching for 27 years with 22 of those at Hunt. She is currently teaching civics, AP Psych, and economics and personal finance. She started her career with us in 1996 as a social studies teacher at Spate Middle. And here's what they're saying about her. Miss Wheeler's an incredible teacher. She's hardworking and effective. Her teaching is dynamic, and she constantly reevaluates her lesson plans by applying and examining new approaches to help students grow. She's committed to being the best teacher that she can be, and she truly loves her students and colleagues. A fellow teacher described her as outworking and outcarrying everyone else in the areas that make a great teacher, educating and nurturing students, fostering whole school involvement, and strengthening faculty relationships. So, congratulations. You will now advance to the regional level of the statewide Teacher of the Year competition. And we're very proud of you, very happy for you, and it's truly deserving. So, congratulations. Yeah, yes. But you have to stay to the end of class, so just a little bit. Yeah. Miss Wheeler, do you want to recognize anyone with you tonight? I didn't give you a chance. If I could have the next contestant in our theme is Wilson County Schools 2024-25 Principal of the Year. And we want to recognize Bedingfield High School Principal Jenny Hayes for being our Principal of the Year this year. And we did surprise her in early May in the gym with all the students and staff in attendance. And we did have to get her off of campus to make sure that we could get all her family and friends in there. So I did have to schedule a meeting with her and then have to cancel unexpectedly and leave her standing in my office to meet later. So it worked very well because she's very trusting for some reason. So I really liked it coming in. I will add this. When we're getting ready to come in, there's no one in the entire cafeteria, commons, hallways. There's not a body anywhere. So I told her I wanted to look at something she had asked about repairing. So we're going to the gym, and we walk up, and a student comes around the corner and goes, can you let me in? Oh, I can get in. And opens the door, and here's everybody sitting in there, and she didn't pay attention to a bit of it. So when we opened the door, then she saw everybody. So I personally have to take this point of privilege right now while I can because she's going to punish me later. But I thought, oh, no, he's going to open the door. She didn't even pay attention. So congratulations, Ms. Hayes. Here's some news about you now that we got you really good. Ms. Hayes has more than 20 years of experience in education, with 16 of those years as an administrator. This is her first school year as the principal of Bedingfield High School. Prior to that, she was principal at Vincent Bynum, Hearn, and Stansburg Elementary. She began her career as a teacher at Toys Knot Middle in July 2003, but she was no stranger to us when she started working here. Ms. Hayes is a graduate of Hunt High School. She has a gift for empowering students and staff to reach their full potential, and she's created a school environment that revolves around trust, respect, teamwork, and integrity. She goes above and beyond to build strong relationships with students, staff, and families. She truly cares about and loves everyone. She will now advance to the regional level of statewide Principal of the Year competition, and we're very proud of you, and congratulations on this much-deserved recognition. Would you like to recognize anyone with you tonight, Ms. Hayes?
My son Josh, my daughter-in-law Caitlin.
And continuing with the last one of our theme, before we switch gears, we'd like to recognize Bedingfield early childhood education teacher Jennifer Polner for being selected as the Wilson County Schools Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year. Jennifer, make it? There she is. So let me tell you about Miss Jennifer. She was selected for the Career and Technical Ed Teacher of the Year through the NC Center for the Advancement of Teaching, or as most folks know, NCAT. Ms. Polner was selected from all of the CTE teachers in our middle and high schools, and this is her 17th year of teaching, and the courses she is currently teaching are child development and early childhood education, and her class is a blast. Her students work closely with the Bedingfield Daycare Program. Ms. Polner was nominated for the award by Bedingfield Principal Jenny Hayes. Ms. Hayes described her as the, quote, sunshine in the building, and shared that Ms. Polner always goes above and beyond and does whatever needs to be done without questioning if that's her role. You will now advance to the regional level of statewide competition, and we know you're very deserving and happy for you being recognized. Congratulations.
Does she have someone?
She's so fast.
I'm a loner tonight.
Loner. No, you're with family. You're good.
You're with everybody.
Board members, audience members, we're going to switch now from some of our educators and administrators to recognize some of our exchange students and host families. We wanted to celebrate several of our exchange students who were with us this school year, because as most everyone knows, what's tomorrow? Anyone? It's okay to say it out loud. Last day of school for the traditional calendar.
Full day.
You know what I mean. It wasn't a test. Anyway, last full day. But we want to recognize the exchange students who are with us this year and also recognize the families who hosted them. So would you come to the front when I call your name? Elsa is visiting us from Spain, and her host parents are Scott and Janet Sage. If you want to come on up. Oh, she does? Oh, y'all let you. And Miss Sage has just informed me that Elsa has her whole family here. Wow, that's incredible. Well, let's spin it. Yeah, that's incredible. Wow. Unreal. And y'all want to slide down there and we'll bring everybody up? Because this is really impressive that we have so many folks that have done this. Yeah, you go down there and hang out for a little bit. You can't sit down just yet. I know you want to go sit down. We're not going to let you just yet. So next we have Aisha is here from Sweden, and her host parents are Mike and Kelly Manning. Pictures, okay, and slide on in. We got more. Look, we got to stand like a family just for a little bit. All right. Meiji is from Thailand, and her host parent is Tiffany Jones. Yeah. Okay. All right. And our final exchange student we'll recognize tonight is Hannah is from Germany, and Gabriella is from Brazil, and their host parent is Emily Kicklighter. So it is indeed an honor to have exchange students with us and members of our school family. I can't imagine the transition and it'd be culture shock for me, but leaving your home to live in a different country for a year as a high school student. High school is challenging enough with the fun that is getting through high school as a teenager. But we recognize the courage that takes, and we're so glad you were here to be a part of our family. And so these students are remarkable in many ways, and they're hardworking and are ambassadors for their countries. And we hope that the educational and cultural experiences that they've shared with us and we've shared with them are here to stay. And we hope we've given them the Wilson experience. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. Depends, maybe. But as for the host families, I mean, that is an additional kudos to you. We appreciate how each of you open up your homes and your hearts to these teenagers. I've experienced teenagers directly, so you know there's something special about that. But taking care of our exchange students as family is a blessing. So we hope that you created the bond that will last for a lifetime. This is the only time you get to do that, and this moment's over, but we wanted to celebrate it. So we wanted to thank the parent and partner organizations that make the exchange program possible, local coordinators, and the staff at Bedingfield and Fike High School that made these students feel welcome and helped them get through the year, because there's a lot of things that take place behind the scenes. So we're very proud of you. We're glad you are here with us, and we hope you go forth and do good things and remember us. And at this point, Ms. Kicklighter wanted to say a few things, and I'm going to get out of the way.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to experience being a parent in Wilson County Schools. It's just been a wonderful experience from day one. The athletic department embraced them, even though they were a little late coming for tryouts. They don't have sports in their country. Well, they have sports, but they don't have sports in school. And so they let them try out and try all different sports that they've never played before, and they put them on the team anyway. The counseling department included them in every event they could think of, including all the senior activities, which we have so many great memories from. And then FFA, like, they actually got cowgirl boots now and will eat barbecue.
Ah, right.
So, and then all the teachers that let them stay after school so that I could keep being principal. So it's just been a wonderful experience, and thank you, Ms. Hayes, for always saying yes, because there were so many ideas that their teachers had that I said she'll never say yes. And she always said yes because she wanted them to have a great experience. So thank y'all so much. It's just been wonderful.
Now we get a picture. Don't go. We'll get a picture. Madam Chair, board members, that ends our Good News Awards for tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always good to have the good news, and to these young people who came to this country and had the experiences in Wilson County schools, we appreciate having you, having your families, and trust us with your well-being along with the families that hosted you. So thank you so very much. And let's give them all another round of applause. All right. For those of you, you're welcome to stay, but if you want to go, we'll let you skip out at this point if you want to.
Last full day, since everybody's so specific. Yeah, punish me now. Wednesday will not be a very organized day. That was a large crowd. That was neat. It really was. That's
It was
amazing.
nice for family.
How cool is that? I can't imagine.
Okay, under the chairman's report, a couple of things. First of all, as you know, Wilson Education Partnership has a program that we recognized and submitted and was recognized statewide, Communicating with Confidence. It's at the high school level, and it started out in one English classroom. This year, there were 564 junior English students who had the opportunity to participate in interviews throughout the year. The program now, even though it started in one classroom, one school, is now in each of our high schools with 9 teachers, and we have 180 trained community leaders who help make the project happen. And many of these students have now had the opportunity to have a mentorship with within those businesses. Some of them have been offered internships and offered paid jobs. So this program is growing by leaps and bounds. It is benefiting not only our students, but our business community gets to see the good work of the students and to know that we are producing students who are ready to go into the workforce if that is where they choose to go. So we thank WEP for their continued support of efforts for our students in making them all become better individuals. We're offering early congratulations to our students from Bedingfield, Fike, and Hunt, who are going to be graduating this coming Saturday and get their opportunity to turn their tassels. We've already done that for our early colleges, Weka and Watt, and now it is their turn. To the parents and families of all of these graduating students, we thank you for entrusting your loved ones to us for our care and our educational efforts. Awards days have been held at the traditional high schools and as well as our early colleges now. And even though this is an approximate set of data, the students and their families and the schools are providing us. This is what we have at this time. At Bedingfield, $672,050 in scholarships were offered to seniors at Bedingfield. $405,500 in scholarships have been accepted by our graduating Bedingfield students, and this was for 32 scholarships. At Fike, $2.65 million in scholarships were offered. $1.4 million were accepted. This accounts for 55 scholarships that were offered. At Hunt, $2.1 million in scholarships were offered. $1.2 million in scholarships were accepted, accounting for 139 scholarships that were offered for our students. Wilson Academy of Applied Technology had bless you.
Thanks, everybody.
Had $548,000 in scholarships offered, $302,000 in scholarships accepted. 17 scholarships were offered for those students. At Wilson Early College Academy, $6.8 million were offered. Let me say that again. $6.8 million in scholarships were offered to those students. $1.1 million accepted. 125 scholarships were offered. So for Wilson County Schools District, $12.77 million in scholarships were offered. $4.4 million in scholarships were accepted. 368 scholarships offered. Our teachers and our staff have done a phenomenal job at preparing the students so that they can meet the challenge wherever they go, as evidenced by the offering of scholarships and the amount of money that was offered and the amount of dollars that have been accepted. So even though these students are not here at this point, I'd like for us to give them a round of applause for the hard work that went into this effort, and to our teachers and staff. School is ending in another day. And we
Day and a
hope.
half.
Day and a half, full
Yeah,
day
that's
tomorrow,
correct.
another half day, okay.
Yeah, that-
Couple of
that
days
count.
total. And we hope that everyone has the opportunity to have a restful and an enjoyable summer. The summer will pass all too quickly. We will be back at the point, because it seems like we just started a few days ago, but the year has already passed. So we wish the best to everybody for the summer that's upcoming. And with that, that concludes the chairman's report, and I will turn it over to Dr. Mills for superintendent's report.
Okay, Madam Chair, board members, audience members, just a few things to piggyback on. Again, Wednesday, June 5th, is the last official day of school, after everybody wanted to complain with me a minute ago. But it's an early release day. So just remember, early release day, June 5th. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just about scared to say that because no one could follow along with the flow, but 1 o'clock. So it is hard to believe that the school year has arrived. But I think that students and staff have worked extremely hard this year, and things have been challenging as ever. And congratulations to families and our staff and our students for making it through the end of another year. And I certainly echo Dr. Fitch's sentiments to have a safe and relaxing summer. And for anyone who doesn't graduate this year, we definitely want to see you back in August, so make plans to do so. Graduation ceremonies are at the traditional high schools this Saturday at 9 a.m. And I would encourage everyone to be there in enough time to be seated and waiting as they come in, because at some point the door is going to shut and we're going to move forward. So please be there to celebrate with your families and friends, and plan ahead to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room with the getting ready and then getting situated. So 9 o'clock Saturday morning, Bettyfield Fike and Hunt, and we're very excited to see those graduates come across the stage. Everyone, I want to make sure everyone hears this one, because this is one we've had lots of questions about. Everyone is invited to the brick distribution at the former Frederick Douglass Elementary School site, which is now a barren site, no school there, because we are giving away bricks from the old building on June 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. So at the school site on Lake Wilson Road. So June 10th, 4 to 7 p.m., brick distribution at the former site of Frederick Douglass Elementary School, which will be the soon-to-be new site. We have set a limit to 5 bricks per person, so come out, get your bricks while they last. First come, first serve. Everybody good. We've had so many questions. June 10th, 4 to 7. So the day has finally come, and they're all set aside. Dr. Williams has personally checked every brick and stacked it accordingly, and they are in perfect working order for whatever you want to do at home. So we're very excited, because this has been something people have asked about since the beginning. So that date is the 10th from 4 to 7. And last, I just want to give a quick grant update. We did receive a $50,000 grant from the Healthcare Foundation of Wilson back in August to implement the PGA Tour's First Tee program in our middle schools. And for those of you who don't know what that's about, many students never have a chance to experience golf or learning to play. And the First Tee program provides them with that opportunity. And it also, as golf typically does from people that play it that tell me this, strengthens character and confidence through the positive personal and social values associated with golf. Students learn the fundamentals of the game during their PE classes, so thanks to our PE teachers, health and physical education teachers. And on May 16th, we had a select group of students really got to show off their skills during the final activity for the program this year. 4 students from each of the middle schools were selected to play several holes at Willow Springs Country Club, thanks to them as well. They were also able to enjoy the driving range and the putting green. We provided the students with shirts and hats for the occasion and treated them to Chick-fil-A for lunch. And so we wanted to thank everyone who made the program possible, and it was a success this year, and we're very excited for the opportunity for our students to have that chance to experience that. So those folks that need a special thanks are the Healthcare Foundation of Wilson, Jimmy Gherkin with Willow Springs, our Grants and Special Projects Coordinator Renee Turner, the middle school health and PE teachers that really organize this too. That's very important. And we'd like to thank particularly Brent Pearson for his leadership with coordinating it. I know he stays busy as well at MCD Middle with his son's playing tennis and some other things as well, but he did a good job pulling us together too. So that has been a very neat first-time program for that, and so it was a success, and wanted to share that information with the board and the community. And Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mills. This point on our agenda allows the public to share their input with us. No one has signed up to address the board tonight, so we will move forward with the remainder of our agenda. Beginning with the Administrative Services Committee report, Mr. Mercer, if you would, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This afternoon, the committee met, but we did not have a quorum So we do not come with recommendations, but we do come with information to share with you. And we have 2 information items and 5 action items. Excuse me. The information items, the first one is contracts requiring board notification. And of those, we have quite a number, and I think of those, most of them are renewals. And Dr. Williams, would you share those, please?
Yes, sir. First contract that we have for notification is All Red Mechanical Services. This is to perform semi-annual service on chillers at Hunt High School, Jones Elementary School, Vic Elementary School, Wells Elementary School, and Bedingfield High School. Contract amount is $7,800. Our second contract is Carva Machinery Company Pump Station, predictive maintenance contract to perform service on the listed Gorman Roop wastewater pumping station at Hunt High School. This contract is for $1,850 a day. It's typically, this is one time a year. Secondly, the third one is Carva Machinery Company Pump Station predictive maintenance contract to perform services on the listed Gorman Roop wastewater pumping station at Bedingfield High School. This is $1,850 a day. This is done 2 times a year. Our next contract is Envirocon Incorporated for maintenance of temperature control systems, DDC control systems. That contract is $12,096. Our next contract is J&R Mitchell Septic Tank Cleaning Services for grease trap cleaning and removal. This contract is $3,500 a month for 12 months for a total of $42,000 for the 24-25 school year. Our next contract is Clegg's Termite and Pest Control. Termite and Pest Control for the cafeteria. This is $506 a month for 12 months. This is $6,072 for the 24-25 school year. The next contract is Dirt Cheap Pressure Washing. This is for range hood cleaning in the Wilson County Schools cafeterias. This contract is for $6,195. Next contract is Trident Beverage Company. This contract is to provide 100% fruit juice slushies for school nutrition at the a la carte sales. That contract is for $14,280. Our next contract is Wilco Cold Storage. This is for cold storage of our frozen food for school breakfast, lunch, and snack items. This contract is $18 per pallet. For a point of reference, it was $9,692 for the 23-24 school year. Next contract is Singer T&L. This is for the walk-in freezer at Benson Bynum Elementary School. That contract is $36,047.16. Our next contract is Hershey Ice Cream to provide ice cream for school nutrition at a la carte sales. This contract is for $33,024. Our next contract is Pepsi Bottling Ventures to provide zero-calorie soft drinks for school at the a la carte sales at the high school level. This contract is for $13,200. Our next contract is for SFS Pack, which is a division of Portion Pack Chemical Corporation. This is to provide food service manual sanitation systems for school nutrition. This contract is for $56,677.40. And our final contract for notification is Johnson Controls Fire Protection. This is to provide annual fire alarm inspections. The contract is for $48,807.95.
Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Anyone have any comments or questions regarding these contracts? Hearing none, we will go to our second information item, which is Wilson County Schools Disposal of Surplus Property Report. And we have a list of those, which just to, you have a list, and none of these were of any possible service to us. They were not functional,
No, sir.
worn,
Yes, sir.
and worn out and of no use. And I think the total was 11,000 something?
Yes, sir, the total for the surplus sale of this property was $11,562.
You have the list before you. Anyone have any questions or comments regarding those? Hearing none, let's go to the action items. And the first action item are contracts requiring board approval. We had three. The first two are related to our food service program, and it was Mayola Milk and Ice Cream Company to provide milk components for school nutrition meals. $397,234.23. Questions or comments regarding that? The second one, R&H Produce Company Incorporated, to provide fruit and vegetable components for school nutrition meals, $270,378. Any comments or questions? I think both of those were pretty much consistent with the rates we've been paying. I mean,
Yes, sir, with any increase has allowed per the contract based on the consumer price index.
yes, sir. Our third one was AmTrust North America to provide workers' compensation insurance, and that was at $210,806. And I think that was an increase. And it was, I think the increase in general terms, and someone, you may can explain it in better detail, but they take into account their expense in paying claims and helps determine, and we've had some back claims that were paid this year, which kind of up what we spent this past year, and which led to a higher rate. Do you want to add to that, Dr. Williams? Or Dr. Wilson, either one?
There were some claims that were past the 30 days. So when someone has a workers' comp issue, then it needs to be reported as quickly as possible, the day of the incident, and there were some claims that were past that time. So that kind of hurt that rating, as well as an increase in incidents.
So, in essence, we need to make sure everyone understands that from the time an incident occurs, 5 days,
Yes.
it should be reported
Yes,
to the proper officials.
correct.
And so if a person does not report it to their supervisor and wherever they are employed with us, that eats into that 5 days quickly. So we need to encourage everybody to report anything that might be a workman's comp situation. It's also a July 1st deadline for this to be approved, so that comes into play also. Anyone else have any comments or questions regarding that? I think everyone, it was passed out with this handout, information regarding, information about the claims that have been paid, and not just this year, but it goes back several years. Because I think the increase was not just a few percent. I think it was a noticeable increase because of our most recent history.
Correct.
Any comments or questions?
Anything that, I'm looking at this, but I'm not understanding it really. Can someone tell me?
I'll do my best. Ms. Daniel was in committee meeting and shared the information, so I'll try to explain it to the best of my understanding. So on the very first page, you can see the policy year and the mode or the mod history. you can see how it has increased over time. And those three issues that between his explanation and mine, those three reasons, is what gives that index of 1.3, which you can see is the highest is a 2, and last year it was 0.9. So there's an increase. Share the reasons. And then on page 2, you have, again, the top of the page, it tells you about the cost of the injury over the past 4 years, and it's divided up into the medical, the lost time, indemnity, and expense. And then on page 3, the same thing with the lost time summary. And then there's a set of injuries down there. It divides those out. In the middle of that page talks about over the period of 4 years, we had 173 situations. Then on page 4, you'll see the analysis where the injuries might happen to be. And then at the bottom would be the injuries on the body part where that would happen to be. And the amount of money spent on that, those parts and the locations, or the types of falls, or the type of burn, or caught in between those issues. And then the body parts, about how much money has been spent on each one of those. And then page 5 talks about the open injuries. And so those are the ones that are left on the, for us to, they're still, the claims are still open. And we had several new open claims this year. I believe Ms. Daniels said that there were 60 this year, new claims. And then on the back page shows the locations as well as the school locations. So you have the school, and then the locations within the school.
When I first saw that, it was kind of alarming to see chart-wise how some are a lot higher, but the very highest is 4 incidences.
Yes, it does.
And the low ones are 1. So, I mean, it's not like it's the chart makes it clear, but it doesn't show that there's, to me, that there's situations this year just happened to happen where they did, and next year the chart will probably look much different. But most of the cases, hallway and cafeteria makes me think where there's less organization and supervision. You know, it's not like the classroom, students and desk and so forth. But it's,
And these this is workers' compensation, so it would only be adults or
Yes.
employees. I guess.
yeah.
When I saw outside of playground.
You thought children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that the full board approve the contracts with Mayola Milk and Ice Cream Company for $397,234.23, and the contract with R&H Produce Company Incorporated for $270,378, and the contract with AmTrust North America for $210,806 as recommended by administration.
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Mercer, seconded by both Mrs. Powell and Mr. Breen, that the board approve the Mayola Milk and Ice Cream Company contract in the amount of $397,234.23. R&H Produce Company Incorporated in the amount of $270,378, and AmTrust North America in the amount of $210,806 as recommended by the administration. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Mercer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The second action item is the facilities condition assessment and deferred maintenance planning selection. Last time we met, we narrowed it down to three options. And from the conversation, I think we wanted to know more about some references as it related to the actual process or information we wanted them to gather for us in regards to the facility conditions. So I think Dr. Williams inquired or prodded or searched. And would you share with them, please, Dr. Williams, what you learned?
Yes, sir. Based off the information that administration was directed to identify, the reference summary that you have there is a list of references that were provided either via the RFQ or through the references that were sent. And they've been summarized or collected in by company specifically for those that did the facility assessment work in a K-12 setting. So with that being said, they are ordered alphabetically on that information, and there were two for our first listed there with Dewberry and Davis Kane. And for one of those, which was that particular reference had only worked with Davis Kane portion of the Dewberry and Davis Kane. And that was a feasibility study for elementary land use as well as a facility condition assessment. And then secondly was another school district which the facility inspection and capital budget planning assessment would be comparable to a facility assessment. And that was a K-12 school system out of state. There was work that was done that was shared in the presentation by Dewberry and Davis Kane in another school system, but that particular work was for safety assessment. Next, ISIS Corporation, and that was that particular reference that was listed was for facility condition assessment, and again, that was for another school system that was outside of North Carolina. And we did not receive anything back in return in regards to that. And then finally, there were three for K-12 facility condition assessment or facility assessment studies with Mosley Architects. And those were listed, and were also, two of those were available and provided to you. So that was a summary of the K-12 facility assessments that were conducted by the companies that administration was directed to seek.
The handout that they had, I think, was a summary of what you've just shared with us, and attached to it are the presentations that those three groups made when they visited us. Do we have anyone, is there anyone that has any insight or thoughts on which of the three? Now, from what I understand, Dr. Williams, your assessment would be any three of them could do it.
Based
I
off
think.
of the information that was provided, that
Yes.
they do have to, yes, sir. I believe we can get the report.
It's a matter, do we have one that we prefer over the other two? And this was, by the way, in our meeting, in our committee meeting, we did not discuss this because it needed to be discussed with the full board. So we didn't discuss it among ourselves. And with only two board members there, we didn't feel like it'd be proper for us to make a recommendation within ourselves.
Two committee members.
Ma'am,
Only 2 committee members.
only 2 committee members. Yes, we did have an additional board member.
Mr. Vice Chair,
Yes, sir.
for what it's worth, I would recommend, I prefer the team of Dewberry and Davis Kane for this project. I was impressed with the presentation. The new recommendations that we have now, sort of provide more color than the ones we considered during the last Administrative Services Committee meeting. But more importantly, I'm always a fan of somebody who's got direct skin in the game. And I was impressed that their project manager is, or their proposed project manager is someone who definitely has skin in the game to the extent that she has a student at New Hope Elementary School.
Thank you. I think that's a good point also. Anyone else have a,
Mr. Chair, I also agree.
ma'am?
I also agree with using Dewberry, the excitement that they had, and they were eager to be here, and someone that's from this area that really knows our schools and knows what we like. I think that would make a big difference as far as hiring them. All 3 are good, but Dewberry stood out with me also.
Anyone else?
I'm happy with Dewberry.
Sir,
I'm happy with Dewberry.
anyone else? I'm gonna tell you on this one, since the committee didn't discuss it, I don't have a problem with any one of them.
If I may, Mr. Vice Chair.
Yes, certainly.
Since the committee is not offering a recommendation to the full board at this point in time, you've had the opportunity to see the information presented. You've had the opportunity to see the reference listing. What is your pleasure in regards to the selection of a facility condition assessment and deferred maintenance planning selection? And I'm hearing 4 people out of the 7 who have weighed in saying Dewberry, but it needs to be in the form of a motion, so the chair will entertain a motion if you are ready at this point for a nomination for selection.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Breen?
I move that we select Dewberry and Davis Kane to perform our facility condition assessment and deferred maintenance planning.
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Mrs. Powell, that the firm of Dewberry and Kane be voted on for the facility condition assessment and deferred maintenance planning that we are asking for. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. We will ask the administration to please move forward with the notification of those firms that submitted RFQs to us as we move forward with that particular issue. Mr. Mercer,
Thank you,
I'll
Madam
turn it
Chair.
back to you.
Our next action item was school resource officer memorandum of understanding. This is something we have to do each year, I think. And this memorandum is the same except for the proper dates were changed to reflect this, the coming year.
Yes, sir. That's
24,
correct.
25.
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any discussion or questions regarding that? Hearing none, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move the full board approve the memo of understanding this, that for the school resource officers for 20 2024-25 be approved as recommended.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Mercer, seconded by Mr. Breen, that the School Resource Officer Memorandum of Understanding for 2024-2025 be approved. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Mercer?
Thank you. Our next action item was the 2024-2025 facility rental fees, which I think also has to be done every year. And this, their recommendation is that we continue with no changes. And you have the information here stating the regulations and so forth. So the fees have not changed. It's what's being recommended. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, Madam Chair,
Mr. Mercer?
I move the full board approve the 2024-2025 facility rental fees as recommended by administration.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Mercer, seconded by Mr. Breen, that the board approve the 2024-2025 facility rental fee proposed schedule as presented by the administration. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Mercer?
Thank you. And our final action item is the continuing budget resolution for 2024-2025, which is, in essence, gives the superintendent the approval to continue next year with the same, using the same budget until the state approves the school system's budget. The state school system budget.
Okay, the state budget.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Was that a motion, sir?
No, ma'am, not yet. That's basically what it says. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move the full board approve the continuing budget resolution for 2024-2025 as recommended by administration.
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Mercer, seconded by both Mr. Borkin and Mrs. Powell, that the board approve the continuing budget resolution for 2024-2025 as presented by the administration. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mercer. Next on the agenda is the Instructional Services Committee report. There was one informational item and several action items. I will handle the information item, and then I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Mercer, for the purpose of the action items so that motion can be made by me.
Yes, ma'am.
Our first informational item was for contracts requiring board notification. Members of the board, in your packet, you received that list of contracts. As you know, per board policy, any contract under the threshold of $90,000 is brought to us for information. And so we have 11 contracts that came to us for that purpose. Anything over that has to have the board approval. Superintendent under 90,000 can make that determination. So the contracts that came before us for information only are for Avid Health at Home to provide healthcare services to school students not to exceed the amount of $50,000. CDW Amplified for Education for Google Workspace service, $41,990. ClassLink These are for annual licenses that we renew on a yearly basis, $30,095.80. Imagine Learning High School Credit Recovery Program at $72,536.06. IntelliChoice Home Care to provide licensed health care personnel not to exceed $50,000. Maxim Healthcare Services to provide licensed healthcare providers not to exceed $70,000. Panorama Education for teacher and staff and student surveys, check-ins, and Foundations Teaching and Learning Package, which is virtual, in the amount of $47,400. Presence for site testing services not to exceed $80,000. Scribble Software for our annual software applications, $59,900. Johnny Sexton and Associates for on-site audiological services not to exceed $45,000. And Venture Rehabilitation Group Incorporated for our preschool level for diagnostic and treatment services to students in accordance with the recognized standards of speech language pathology for our preschool students in the amount not to exceed $70,000. And those are the informational contracts. Are there any questions or discussions? Hearing none, we'll move to the action items, and so I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Mercer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We had 4 contracts that were over the threshold level of $90,000. One for learning focused is the business for professional development, high-yield strategies and action books. It's for professional development and administrative coaching walkthroughs in the amount of $91,582.88. The next contract is for the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation for Voc Rehab Student Services to assist with transition from school to work in the amount of $108,090. This is primarily for exceptional children. The third contract was for kinetic physical therapy and wellness for staffing positions for speech therapy in the categories of screening, planning, evaluation, as well as therapy and the administration of, not to exceed $900,000. And the fourth contract was for Venture Rehabilitation Group Incorporated to provide diagnostic and treatment services to students in accordance with the recognized standards of speech and language pathology, not to exceed $150,000. With the kinetic physical therapy and wellness, that provides us with 2 occupational therapists, 6 speech language pathologists, 2 behavioral specialists, 2 EC teachers, and 12 teaching assistants in the exceptional children's area. Are there any questions? Hearing none, Mr. Vice Chair, I
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on behalf of the Instructional Services Committee that the contracts requiring board notification as already provided, Learning Focus, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness, and Venture Rehabilitation Group Incorporated be approved at the amounts as set forth in the board packet by the administration.
Second.
It's been moved properly, seconded, the full board approved the contracts that have been listed, including Learning Focused, the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness Incorporated, and Venture Rehabilitation Group Incorporated at the stated amounts. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. It carries unanimously, Madam Chair.
We were given a presentation, and it's listed as discussion and action, but it actually was an update along with the career technical education plans for 2024, 2025. In that presentation, the correct career and technical education is providing academic skills, technical skills, knowledge, and training aligned to today's labor market that allows our students to explore career options, and it's available to students of all ages. We were provided with the following information. Our program areas and career clusters include agriculture, food and natural resources, architecture and construction, arts, audio, visual, technology and communications, business management and administration, finance, health science, hospitality and tourism, human services, information technology, law, public safety, corrections and security, manufacturing, marketing, STEM, including engineering and technology, and transportation, distribution, and logistics. During the 23-24 school year, we had 3,790 high school level course enrollments, and at the middle school, we had 2,549 middle school level course enrollments, which means that we are reaching a great majority of our population. For career technical education work-based learning, there were 92 students who participated in work-based learning opportunities. 8 students participated in the Wilson County Schools student-teacher internships, and 8 have been registered thus far for the 24-25 school year, and more are expected by the end of summer. 43 local business partners hosted interns this year, and there are 70 students that have been placed in summer internships. The CTE work-based learning highlights included Haley Denton, a student at Hunt who participated in an internship with the Wilson 911 call center and has been considered and offered full-time employment with the 911 call center. Zachary Hill, a student at Fike, participated in a sports broadcasting internship and was offered a chance to tour WNCT Channel 9 in Greenville studios for their sports center. Zach is going to participate in an internship as a result of that with Barton College and the Mudcats in the next school year. Araya Taylor at Fike accepted and participated in the Governor's Page program, and Rebecca Balcom at Bedingfield High School has been accepted in the Governor's Page program for this coming summer. We've had credentialing highlights over the years, and the highlights and attainment this year have been in the area of first aid, basic life support, Stop the Bleed, which is a nationally recognized program, Occupational Safety and Health Administration 10, OSHA 10, the National Center for Construction Education and Research. There's credentialing in law and public safety, introductory competence. Several of our students have been accredited as with food handler certification, as well as with food manager certification. They have students who have Youth for Quality Care of Animals, North Carolina Beef Quality Assurance certifications, Conover Workplace Readiness credentials, Part 107 Unmanned Aircraft Systems Remote Pilot or Drone licenses, North Carolina UAS Operator permits, and the Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Wilson County students have earned a total of 2,347 credentials this school year. Our students also participate in Work Keys program. It's a recognized system of assessments for the measure of workplace skills that can affect job performance and increase opportunities for career advancement. We had students to place in Work Keys at the platinum level, gold level, silver level, and bronze level. Wilson County Schools had 360 students who took the Work Keys exam. 309 students earned industry-level certifications at the levels of bronze or higher, and 86% of those students and 190 students earned career-ready status at the level of silver or higher, meaning they were proficient. 53% of those students earned those certificates. There were career technical student organizations at each of the schools. FFA, or Future Farmers of America, had 603 students. Those clubs are at Bedingfield, Hunt, Springfield, and Spate schools. FBLA, or Future Business Leaders of America, had 8 students at Fike. HOSA, which is a Health Occupations Club, their future health professionals, 34 students participated at Fike and Hunt. TSA, or Technology Student Association, had 31 students at Hunt, and the National Technical Honor Society had 89 students at Bedingfield, Fike, and Hunt. Some of the highlights of those organizations. Fike's Health Occupational Student Association hosted a blood drive through the American Red Cross, and they collected 102 units of blood, and they were awarded $1,000 to their club. Fike's Future Business Leaders of America attended the state FBLA conference in Greensboro. Hunt's Future Farmers of America attended the national FFA conference in Indianapolis, Indiana this past fall, where students had the opportunity to network with students from across the country, as well as participate in leadership activities during their trip. Hunt's FFA students also attended state and regional conferences and participated in leadership training, and these students also facilitated various community service projects, including food bank district donations, Thanksgiving turkey donations, and visiting assisted living facilities. At Bedingfield, the FFA attended the North Carolina FFA State Convention with one student competing for tool identification. They had one student compete at the state level truck driving contest. They helped host the Wilson County Schools Ag STEM Night, where community was welcoming for members to learn about agriculture and STEM. Bedingfield's FFA Club also hosted the second annual On the Farm Day with the Baby Bruins and the Baby Warriors and kindergartners from Stantonsburg Elementary School. They toured, the students toured the Bedingfield High School farm and learned about what students do on a daily basis. They were able to learn the parts of a tractor, pet the sheep, feed the goats, see the pigs and the cows. They were also able to go on a hayride and pick a pumpkin from the Bruins pumpkin patch at the end of their experience. Bedingfield and Hunt both are recognized as superior chapters, Bedingfield having received gold chapter recognition, and it is ranked in the top 10% of all North Carolina FFA chapters. Bedingfield will now advance to the national level to be rated for possible recognition at the National FFA Conference. Every 2 years, there is a comprehensive local needs assessment for the CTE program. They solicit feedback from all of the CTE stakeholders, including local industry partners, teachers, administrators, students, and parents. Feedback is used to help us in planning the next 2 years. And over the next year, the focus for CTE will be to continue to increase work-based learning opportunities for students, continue to improve our credential attainment rate, to promote and fund our CTSOs, to create leadership opportunities for students. We want to be more intentional in the recruiting of non-traditional students into CTE courses, provide professional development focused on supporting special population students, and to provide more supports for our beginning CTE students. It also intends to focus on continuing to build and improve the relationships with the local businesses and industries, to integrate math and science skills in the CTE classrooms, to fund new courses and to be offered in the 24-25 school year, most specifically culinary arts and vet assisting, to expand career exploration opportunities in our elementary school students in grade 5, to utilize a Pathful Explorer to help facilitate the creation of career development plans for both our middle and high school students, and to create or increase marketing efforts and opportunities for our students. I think that one should have possibly been, because I'm not sure that that required any action, but it was just merely an update. Is that correct?
I agree.
So we should have had that in the, thank you for the second without a motion.
Comment.
Yes.
Comment.
Yes, Ms. Barnes.
I'm glad to see that we are recognizing the CTE Teacher of the Year as well as our Principal and Teacher of the Year, because I was saying this afternoon, I think our CTE program will match up with any districts in the state. And the question arose a couple of years ago, what were we doing in Wilson County schools to prepare our students with skill sets to be able to be prepared for skills in our career in our today's workforce? And as you can tell from the report, if the parents were listening, we're doing an awful lot, and we should be very proud of the job that they do.
I'd like to add that these skill sets that they're teaching can be very meaningful to a person, even if they do not pursue a career in that field. Just the knowledge of different things like that really add to a person's quality of life.
Okay. Mrs. Boyette,
May I get a copy of this?
you did not have that in your packet?
It should be paperclip to your instructional service minutes.
2 minutes.
I'll go back and look again. I wasn't at.
It was left, should have been left at your space,
Okay.
but we'll make, if it's not there, we'll make sure that you have that. Okay, thank you much. Any other comments or questions? At our last board meeting, we had policy revisions that came to us for first read. As per policy, they come back to us for a second reading. Those did come back to us, and for a second reading, the following policies were presented. Revised policy 1310/4002, parental involvement. Revised policy 3420, student promotion and accountability. Revised policy 3460, graduation requirements. Policy 4040/7310, staff-student relations. Revised policy 4240/7312, child abuse, human trafficking, and related threats to child safety, reporting, investigating, and training. Revised policy 4270/6145, concussions and head injury. Revised policy 6125, administering medicines to students. Revised policy 6126, naloxone or Narcan administration. Revised policy 7130, licensure. Revised policy 8340, insurance. And revised policy 8510, school finance officers. A couple of the policies had very minor changes, but were accepted by the committee. for referral for approval. Therefore, Mr. Vice Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
on the recommendation of the Instructional Services Committee, I move that we propose the stated policies that I just mentioned for approval.
Second.
It's been moved properly seconded that full board approve policies that have been listed and by number and name to be approved. Any further discussion or questions? It's been moved properly seconded. Is hearing none, then all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. It carries unanimously, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That concludes the Instructional Services Committee report. Mrs. Barnes?
Madam Chair and board members, I move that the Wilson County Board of Education go into closed session to consider confidential personnel matters as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A1 and 6 and 115C-319 through 321 to consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A1 and North Carolina General Statutes 115C-402 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3.
Second.
It has been moved by Mrs. Barnes and seconded by both Mrs. Boyette and Mr. Breen that the Wilson County Board of Education go into closed session to consider confidential personnel matters as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A1 and 6 and 115C-319 through 321 to consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A1 and North Carolina General Statutes 115C-402 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20, United States Code 1232G, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously.